Good morning. Happy New Year. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And welcome to my This or That Thursday. Every week, I try to post about 2 cards in my group, and I ask my crafting community to choose a card for me to make live on Thursday. And today, we are making this card because it's time to use up your scraps that you have left in your craft stash. So, if you're joining me live for the first time, please say hi, or even not for the first time. But I love to have people join me when I'm crafting because it's more fun when we craft together and ask questions and make comments. So, just give me a second while I get my screen up and running so I can see all your comments while we are crafting, and we'll go from there. And I'll set up my camera for my desktop in just a second. So I'm just gonna open up this live stream so I can see it. And it's been ages since I've been on. I did my last live before Christmas, and I haven't been on since. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I had my customer appreciation just last weekend, and that was a lot of fun, but I had a lot of prep to do for it. And those of you who have been following me on Instagram, I think you would have probably seen that my daughter broke her foot. So that's also been keeping me busy. Just a second. I think I have everything. Okay, I've got my video up. And oh yeah, if you're joining me live or on replay, I would love it if you say hi, tell me where you're watching from, and enjoy crafting with me. Okay, so I've got my computer screen up and running. Let me switch my phone over to my desktop and we will get started. So I'm just going to move the phone. Close your eyes. Things are going to get a little bit bumpy. Just give me a second. All right. Zoom in a little bit more and then you can see better. All right, here we go. So here's what we're using today. Most of this card is centered on the DSP. So you can recreate this card with any DSP pack that you have. All the little strips here are, some of them are just leftovers from cutting for other projects. And sometimes I decided I wanted to cut a wider piece, so I would cut a new strip. But a lot of this centers on using up the scripts, the leftover scraps that you have, and making another card from it. So this is the Wildflower Birthday DSP, which is brand new in the new mini catalog, and the coordinating stamp set that goes with it is the Birthday Celebration. And I also used a die from the Stylish Shapes to create that centerpiece. Now you can just cut a rectangle and that is totally fine, so you don't need dies for this. And that little cake there is fussy cut. So it's not that hard, trust me. It's not too hard to fussy cut little cake. And everything else is just paper and ink, really, and a little bit of ribbon. So let's get started. This is a regular card. It's just a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet cut in half. So let's go ahead and cut the card base and we'll get started. So you'll see I have like a whole bunch of strips that I have left over that I have up here, and we're going to make the same pattern. I did spend time laying out my strips ahead of time to see what it would look like and see where I wanted to put each pattern. So I'm going to follow what I already did the first time I made this card, but when you make your card with your scraps, I would suggest laying out all your pieces and figuring out which order you want to put them in, okay? Because I did spend time doing that ahead of time. All right, so I'm going to make some room and we'll bring my paper trimmer over. Thought we'd start off easy this in this new year. Just kind of getting back into things. I haven't done anything difficult, but I do have a new class planned. It's to make a photo album, and I'm really excited about that, and I'm using this DSP for it. So that's next on my list to tackle, and I'm really excited to get started on that soon. Okay, so here we are, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I'm just going to cut it in half at 5.5 inches right here. Okay, and I will score it at 4 1/4. This way, also halfway. Hi Sandra, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I'm excited to get started on designing that. I got my order last night, so I have lots of paper now because I am using the Wildflower birthday DSP, and I've got the coordinating cardstock, so it uses this is Pretty in Pink, and I bought both Pretty in Pink and Bubble Bath because I wasn't sure. Like, I'm pretty sure the Pretty in Pink and Bubble Bath now that I have them in hand, that they don't actually they don't look the same. I can't substitute one for the other. I'll show you. Just pull them out. My shelf is pretty packed. Okay, so here's Pretty in Pink. And this is Bubble Bath. Okay, so you can see them side by side. And I was debating whether or not I could substitute the Bubble Bath, but no, I felt sure that the Pretty in Pink would look better with the with this cardstock. It's a different shade of pink. It's not that similar. So anyways, I got that last night, and so I'm ready to start playing around with designing this stuff. Okay, back to today's card. All right, so I have my card base cut, and what I did was I actually mounted all these strips on a separate piece of white, and I started off with a piece of white that would fully cover this front. Okay, so that would be a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece. And as you can see, my strips actually are cut down slightly. So there's a little bit of a gap. It's a 1/16 inch of a gap here. Oh, good morning. There's a lot more comments. I just have to quickly catch up. Sandra says she already has Pretty in Pink and Blueberry Bushel. Yes, that's great. And you know what? I don't know if I have Blueberry Bushel. I might have it. Anyways, I don't know. That's the random thought there. Hopefully, I can get by without it. But I know who I can hit up for some cardstock if I need to borrow some. Good morning, Janice. Thanks for joining in. And then Sandra says she might be able to use Bubble Bath if you don't specifically. Oh yes, yeah. If there's nothing with a lot of pink in it, I could probably switch in the Bubble Bath, but because I have both, I'm gonna just use Pretty Pink. So anyways, okay, back to the card. I did trim this down. So originally I started off with a full sheet that covered the full front of the card, and I found that my edges didn't look straight, so I actually trimmed it, and so that all my edges would be straight. Some people can just cut and trim all this off with scissors and it looks fine, but I didn't find that I did a good job. And so I trimmed it down, and I actually like it with a little bit of a gap, but you can do it either way. Okay, so I'm gonna prep the piece of cardstock that I need for mounting the strips. So I'm gonna start with the full mat size, so that's 4 1/4. So I'm just double checking because I'm pretty sure this, yeah, so this one's a little bit bigger than 4 1/4, so I'm going to trim it down. 4 1/4 by 5.5. That one's already 5.5. Okay, so we're good. All right. So let's start with the with laying those strips out. Okay, so I'm going to use my silicone mats so that because I will probably end up with some strips hanging over that have Stampin' Seal on it, and I don't want it to stick to my desktop, so the silicone mat is perfect for that. Okay, let's pull in our strips here. Okay, if you wanted to cover the entire front, you notice that I have white gaps in here. If you wanted to just cover the entire thing without any gaps, it makes it very easy actually, because then all you have to do is apply adhesive all across the front, and then you can just lay out the strips as you want, okay? And just put them right up against each other. So instead of leaving a gap, like I will be, you would just put them straight up together, and that would cover all the adhesive, and that would be the fastest and easiest way. But I do like this look with a little bit of a gap between, so that requires a little bit more work, because you have to work with trying to figure out where to put your adhesive, right? So I'm going to start in the corner, and I think I'm just going to put adhesive right in the corner. So for some pieces I actually put the adhesive on the piece, but here it's kind of a funny shape. It's going to be kind of a triangle, so I'm just going to put it right on the corner here. And because I have my silicone sheet, that also allows me to go right up to the edge, and it doesn't stick to my desktop because it doesn't stick to the silicone sheet. So I'm just going to put this, let's see, since I've already got this part on an angle, this strip is already on an angle. Okay, I need to have it cover the whole corner, so let's put it this way. Okay, so I do have a lot of overhang there, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to put this strip next, and because this is like pretty much the width of the Stampin' Seal, I am going to use the Stampin' Seal right on the paper. So it's a little bit of a estimation as to how long of a strip I'll need. Okay, so I have it from here to here, and I like to try and make it go straight to the edge, because if it's if it lifts up at the edge, it's you're going to be able to see that paper lifting. So I try to go as close to where the edge will be, and I think that does the job. Okay, so let's put this down. Okay, my next piece is a bigger piece. Oh, I don't have, oh yes I do. Do I have it? Here's the piece. It's upside down, I think. Yes, okay. So this is a bigger piece here. I'm going to leave a little bit bigger of a gap, and okay, so I'm kind of estimating by putting it down first, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a ruler this time, just to kind of remind me where I want to stop putting adhesive. So that's going to tell me I want to put adhesive up to about here, all in this section. So that way I can get good coverage. There. Here we go. And I'm just trying to make use of this piece of paper the best I can, because I know I've cut this already on this angle. It just nicely, I could match it up exactly to the edge of the top of the edge of the paper here. I'm just looking at where my adhesive ends. Oops. And I'm lining up the angle so that I get a straight gap between the two pieces of DSP here. I think that works. All right. So I have a piece of, what is this? This is the, I think more dazzling DSP, well, specialty paper. And I gave that away during my my customer appreciation, so I thought it would be great to pull this out and make it a highlight piece on this scrappy strip card. So again, I'm just going to use my ruler here to kind of guide me as to where I want to put my my adhesive down. Okay. And if you're careful, if you want to preserve as much as this specialty DSP, I'm trying to line up the corner here with the edge of the paper. There's not much left. I don't know if I really needed to save that that bit of DSP. Okay, so now the last piece down here is the gingham. You move this up a little bit, and here's the gingham here. Okay, I'm going to move this up. Okay, and some of the lines here are not exactly the same width, but you might want to just, you know, lay it out and see how it looks. This one I'll make like a little bit skinnier, or I could make it a little bit fatter. I'm just kind of gauging what it looks like. I might leave it a little bit wide. I'll match that gap. Okay, so I'm going to use my ruler as a guide again. And I'm making sure I cover that tip there, the very corner, so that it stays put when I put it down. Okay. So just be careful that you don't accidentally touch the adhesive before you have it in place where you want it, because I did that several times the first time I made this card and had to work at peeling it up very carefully without ripping. All right, a couple more pieces. I have a flowery piece down here. So this was just a skinny little piece. I'm going to put the adhesive right on it. With a smaller gap. And the last piece, oh, you know what? I was going to use the leftover piece from this blue piece over here. So what I'm going to do is start trimming, and just that piece, and we'll have that extra to use. So I do keep an extra pair of scissors that I use just for sticky stuff. So I know that some of the glue will be peeking out, or the stamp seal will be peeking out, and I don't like to get it on my other scissors, because then if I have two separate scissors, then the ones that have no sticky stuff on it won't stick to the ribbons and other little pieces of die cuts. Like if I'm trying to fussy cut, I don't want to have any glue on it. So I actually have two pairs of scissors for crafting with, and this is the one that I use that has sticky stuff on it if I have to cut something with adhesive. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this off. There we go. All right. So I'm going to put adhesive right onto this cardstock. And this silicone mat really does come in handy for this, because I don't have to worry about getting adhesive onto my desktop. And looks like this time I'll have a bit of a white leftover in my corner here. And I'm just going to use this to remove it. I don't even know what to call this piece. Sandra actually gave it to me. It's like an adhesive remover. It just rubs off the excessive sticky stuff, excess, so that it don't end up with stuff sticking to it. So tell me, what kind of projects are you ladies working on this, now that Christmas is over and you can go back to making whatever instead of just Christmas cards? What are you excited to work on? And what products in the new mini catalog and the Celebration catalog have caught your eye? Add that to the comments. I would love to see. So now that we've finished covering the front, I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the back. So you can just use scissors to cut down the side, and that's what I did the first time. And then if you want, you can use your trimmer afterwards to straighten out the edges, or to trim it down to a little bit smaller so that it has a little bit of a gap around the edges on the front of the card. Okay, so you're just going to turn it over. You can see all the edges here, and you're just going to take your scissors and you're just going to trim following the edge of the cardstock. I was wondering why that one felt funny. I realized it was the specialty paper. It's a lot thicker, right? And once you have one side trimmed off, you can actually start using your paper trimmer. So now that's all cut. I can actually bring in my paper trimmer and cut the rest. That's going to be an amazing project, Sandra, and I just can't imagine how many hours of time it will take you to put that together, but that sounds like fun. Okay, so now that this is straight on one side, I'm going to use that straight edge to trim my other sides. So I'm just lining up the edge right in the middle of the groove. And that makes it much easier. Okay. Again. Oh, Janice, you're going to use up your DSP. Good luck with that. I don't. You did a deep organize in early January. Oh, okay. Good for you. Wow. Oh, I don't think I got through the specialty paper there. I'll have to use scissors to trim that. Where did they go? Okay. There we go. And then the last side, I'm going to turn it this way because of this long piece sticking out. There we go. All right. So now you can see it's all nice and trimmed. It's kind of like magic, I feel, because when you have it all laid out and you stick it on and all these pieces are hanging off, it doesn't look very pretty, but then you trim it down and it just looks amazing, doesn't it? Okay, so you could go ahead and actually, let me just show you. So you could actually mount this straight onto the front of your cardstock, of course, if you want to cover the entire front of your card. Just gonna fold this and then we'll take a look at how it looks. Okay, so this is how it looks if you cover the entire front, and I think it looks good, but I do also like having a 1/16 of an inch gap. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it down. Okay, so this you could mount as is, or you can trim it down to give it a little bit of a gap. I'm going to give it that little bit of a gap. So I'm going to bring this back. And so instead of 4 1/4, it'll now be 4 1/8 of an inch wide. So let's just cut that. And then instead of 5 1/2, it'll be 5 3/8. It's not much, but it just gives you that little bit of space. And I like how it frames the strips. So that was the main part of your card, really. So you can go ahead and you know, play with this and decorate the front in whatever way. Yes, Janice, I understand. Even though I am, you know, I am still teaching classes and I still have, you know, I have a few customers, but it is hard to sometimes meet that quarterly minimum. It is a challenge sometimes, and it depends on whether or not you love what you see in the mini catalog. And I've become pickier and pickier as to what I want to buy. Because sometimes it feels like I have something similar enough that I don't really need what they have that's new. It's not new enough, different enough for me to justify buying another one. So yeah. So anyways, okay. So this is the front. I'm just gonna glue it on so I don't lose it anywhere. You know how that is, right? You lose things on your desktop so easily because there's so much stuff. I'm going to glue it on, and then we'll work on the little sentiment on the front. But this is a good way to take those scraps, because I do keep a lot of the 1/2 inch, anything bigger than 1/2 inch of DSP, I tend to keep it. And you can use that for decorating the bottom of the inside mat of your cards. But this is another good way to use up those scraps as well. So a 1/16 of an inch is, you know, a little bit fussier to center because you don't have a lot of room to work with, but I do love how that looks. All right, let's go ahead and decorate the sentiment. I'm kind of reading the comments as I go, and it distracts me momentarily. Okay, so let's die cut this, and then we'll know what kind of room we're working with. So let's put this aside, and I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. Let's bring in the little one. All right, I've got my little one today. And with the little one, it's slightly different than the big cut and emboss machine, the matting pieces, not the matting piece, the cutting plates, sorry. So it's a good thing that they always put the instructions right here. They're right on the plates, and they tell you which plates you need. If you are, you know, hesitant about buying a cut and emboss machine, don't be. It is the best thing ever. So this one just tells me I need plates 1 and the number 2 plates. So they're all numbered right there. And with the mini cut and emboss machine, it's a little bit different than the big one, because to make this run smoothly through the cut and emboss machine, you have to actually offset your plates a little bit so that the rollers inside can grab it. With the big cut and emboss machine, you don't have to do this, but for the small one, you do. Whoops, I have it turned around. I need the handle on this side. Okay, so I'm gonna feed it in until I feel it grab. and then roll it through. So cute. Oh, Sandra, you said that you're saying that the boho blue mini cotton emboss machine is $4 less? Really? I did not notice that. I haven't even looked at them since, you know, since we already have cotton emboss machines. There's no reason to look at it. I didn't realize that it's a slightly different price. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to stamp and I'm going to show you, like here, I just found that the background was very stark on this little sentiment piece. It was a stark white and I found it too much and I wanted to add a little bit of blue in the background. So that's what I did. I took the blueberry bushel and I have one of those mini brushes. Actually, no, you know what? You can use the mini one. The mini size one would be better, but I realized I had a brush that had blue on it already. So you can use the big one, but the mini one would give you a little bit more control. So I'm going to put on a little bit of a blue background. Actually, you know what I'm going to do first is I will get the cake and I will show you the difference first, how it looks as a with just the plain white and then with a little bit of blue. It just adds a little bit of depth. So let me bring in some of the DSP and I'm gonna grab this fussy cut. I know, Sandra, this is gonna make you crazy, but I'm gonna fussy cut this. Okay, so I think I chose for this particular size sentiment piece, like because I chose this size, this I can tell this cake here is a little bit too tall. You can see it's gonna be off of the page, so I'm gonna actually go and cut just the blue one because the blue one is shorter and it will fit with this sentiment. But if you're not die cutting and you're not restricted in terms of exactly in the shape size, you can cut it to fit whatever cake works for you. So I'm just going to cut this out. Yeah, that's a great tip, Sandra. I really like that because those cut and emboss machines, you know, they're a little bit expensive, but oh, they are so worth it. I really love what I can do with the cut and emboss machine. And if you get a little bit of a discount, that's great. And of course, the best discount, which is what I did, was I bought it with the starter kit. And that was when they were priced low enough that they actually could be purchased with the starter kit. But now they're out of the starter kit range. Which is unfortunate. Okay, so I'll show you the difference in how it looks with just plain white in the background, which is nothing, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I just find that it adds depth to brush on a little bit of blue in the background before I put the cake on top of it. There we go. Sandra, I don't think there would be enough time to finish the class if I got everybody to fussy cut. There's no way. Don't worry. All of it will be using the pre-die cut images from this pack if I have anything to do with this. Okay, so let's stamp the sentiment too. Okay, so you can see what this looks like. Oh, that's weird. I just realized that this paper is kind of like an ombre that has the pink background is not, it's not pink everywhere. See, it's a little bit more white here and darker pink over here. So my cake on my original card actually looks like it has a white outline, and this one looks like it has a pink outline. Interesting. Okay, anyways, well, let's go ahead with stamping anyways. So this is the blueberry bushel, which is pulled from the DSP. So the DSP has blueberry bushel in it. Let's get out the stamp. Make a wish. Okay, so this is how I pick up my my stamps, especially when they're long, skinny ones, because they tend to be wiggly. If you want to make it straight and you don't want any curves in it, I lay it down on my paper or my table and I pick it up with my block. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna stamp Make a Wish, and I'm just visually checking that my stamp is fully inked. Doesn't that look great? Oh, you have some great tips on using the celebration, the join offer during celebration. Yes, that's right. Oh, good one. Good one. So yes, if you want to join, and you can use your join offer to get the large cut and emboss machine. That's amazing. That's great. Okay, so let me show you again. I'll just show you. All right, so if you put the cake down just like that, it's just very stark white, okay? And I just want to add a little bit of blue. So that's what it looks like with just plain white in the background. But I'm gonna take a little bit of blueberry bushel and add it, okay? So because blueberry bushel is quite dark, I'm actually going to tap off, and I'm gonna do a little bit of blending on a piece of scrap paper so that I have only a little bit left. So I'm just going to have a very light hand and add some to the middle top, just to frame our cake. Okay, I went a little bit above, but it's okay. Let's see. Do you see how that changes the way it looks? I actually wish I hadn't gotten too far up. It would look better if it was just on here. That's why if you have the smaller brush with blue on it, then I would recommend the smaller one, because then you'd have more control over where that ends up. I actually have another piece here that I started. Let's try this one. Okay. I'm just wondering, do I have a smaller brush? Hang on. No, not handy. Okay, I don't have a smaller brush handy with the blue already on it. Okay, let's just try to stay right in the middle. Oh, I think this is much better. Yeah, it works out better. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more. All right. I think that looks better. Okay. So let's just, I'm just going to glue that down flat. And I'm always using my tweezers because that prevents me from getting glue on my fingers, and then I can hold it here and position it without with my fingers blocking the view, right? So I love using my tweezers. All right, let's bring back the card. And we're just going to center it and put some dimensionals on it. This is a really simple card. It's really simple and easy to do with any of your DSPs. And if you want it even simpler, you just cover the entire mat with adhesive, and then you can just layer strips side by side. And there's no fussing with trying to put the adhesive down in areas that you want to cover versus and leaving that gap. Okay, so but this is just a slightly different look. Okay, so here is the sentiment, and it's going to go right here. Okay, so that is pretty much the card, except for a little bow. You know, when I finished it, I was thinking it's missing something. I need something else. I didn't want jewels. Where did my ribbon go? And I thought, oh, a little bit of pool party ribbon would be great. If it was a little bit skinnier, that would be fantastic. But this is the width that this ribbon comes in, so I just tried to make the bow as small as I could. I always tie my bows on the spool because if I, you know, accidentally pull too much or too little, then I can just pull apart my bow and do it over again. Oh, great idea, Sandra. You're going to use the scraps from your storybook album and make a matching card. That's an excellent idea. When is your mother-in-law's birthday? When is that like coming up soon? Like, do you have to get that done soon? So I'm just trying to get the center of the bow tighter, but I don't want these pieces to be too long. So I keep pulling and adjusting. That's what I'm doing. If you're wondering why I keep pulling it out and adjusting it, it's because I want the center to be tighter and the bow sections not to be too long. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so let's cut this. Okay, and I'll just use a glue dot for that. Oh, June 10th, you've got tons of time. That's great. You'll actually have to make her a Mother's Day card before you even give her this Storybook Moments album. Okay, so I'm just going to press this right onto the glue dot to pick it up. And then we'll just stick it onto the base of this cake. And that is today's card. Pretty easy. I think it's a great way to use up scraps. that you've got lying around, and you know it all comes from the same DSP pack, so then you know it coordinates. And just add a little sentiment to the front, cut out the cake, and voila, you're done. So I hope you had a good holiday, and you know, since this is the first time I'm back on since the holidays, and you're back in your crafting places. I know some people had to put away their crafting areas while there was Christmas celebrations, and it's just so nice to get that out again. So have fun, do some more crafting, and I will see you next week. See you later.